welcome to another episode of On This Journey, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get more OTT than this. His name is Peter Joynt. He's a personal friend of mine. He's been supporting the brand ever since it started. I'm talking about the OTT hats. And we're gonna get into everything he does for the city and everybody else. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of On This Journey. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with a friend of mine. His name is Peter Joynt. Peter, welcome to the platform.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. I just want to say before we start, thank you. I'm very thankful that you're here today, man, because, I think you're a great man. You inspire me in many ways. You wear many hats. And I don't know if I've told you this before, but, I have a lot of respect for you, and I admire all the work you do, man. And you've been a positive, how can I say? You've been a positive
Force.
Yeah. Example to me.
Thank
you know what
you.
I mean? So
same. It goes both ways.
exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate that, man. So before we get into anything, I just want to say that it doesn't get more OTT than this, okay? Because my guy Peter Joynt here is born and raised from Ottawa. And tell us how was that? Tell us how that was, man. Growing up in the city.
So born and raised, and I've always been a huge fan of Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I moved to Toronto very briefly for school and came back because it just didn't feel like home. And I love this city, and it was described by a friend recently who said Ottawa is a place you can hold in your head.
Yeah.
It's not big and sprawling and so big that you can, it's small in the sense that you can get from point A to point B and you know where to go for this or that, and you're not stuck in traffic for too long and all these things. So it's it's the right size, and there's stuff that is not great about it, but I always like to focus on the good stuff, because there's a ton of good. It's clean, it's green, it's safe.
Yeah, for sure.
All these things, and so these are things we can hold in our head and kind of
I agree.
look on the bright side.
100%. And I think that's why you see a lot of people come into Ottawa.
Yeah.
A lot of families moving into Ottawa. A lot of companies building condos in Ottawa, because it's a growing city.
Yeah.
I like to call it it's a little big city.
Yeah.
Because it has a lot of things, like great restaurants. I always like to look for new things myself as well. There's many things to do in Ottawa.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So after you came back to the city, what did you get into?
Yeah, so I had some kind of fears about getting into the working world and ending up in a cubicle job and being
the
very
typical
drab
government
and
job,
dull. But I got into comms, I got into communications, kind of writing, and I eventually picked up a video camera, and I was figuring out how to produce videos, and at the same time I started to rap and started to write songs, and so all these things effectively came together and have paved a way for what I do now. I work at Shopify, and I'm a producer, and I effectively write work songs, and I produce kind of Saturday Night Live style skits, and so I do a lot of creative work, and it's not your typical cubicle job at all.
Wow, that's amazing. So when did you grow up listening to rap?
I did, yeah. In fact, my first the first tape I got was a Run DMC tape, and I was so interested in the style and the flow, and it's so cool. Just hip hop culture in general is just
that's amazing.
The best.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And
do you guys hear that?
I'm sure you guys get it too. I know. But I then kind of started to play drums, and I played drums in a punk band, which is not quite hip hop, but I started to write songs and kind of sing, but I'm a terrible singer. And so, and one thing that's interesting too is I have a speech impediment. I stutter, but when I sing, I would lose the stutter.
Wow.
In fact, they teach bad stutterers to sing when they talk because it's all very smooth. And so I went from writing songs and singing, but I suck at singing. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I could say that same line as a rap instead of I like to sing. It's I like to sing. And
That's interesting.
Then I found out that I could rap and it would work
Wow.
the same way. Like, it's the joint, and y'all know where I'm from, and so you better pay attention because you'll know what I've done. I plant a seed in these minds of these brothers and sons and got Cap City rolling off the tip of their tongues.
What?
And so, yeah.
Wow, that's
so the same
amazing,
thing,
man.
It's
That's
this
amazing.
incredible thing with stutterers. We speak with the right side of our brain, whereas regular speakers speak with the left.
Okay.
But if ever
That's
you
interesting.
do anything creative, like singing, rapping, or like using an accent, hello everybody, I could speak in a terrible British accent, something incredible happens in the brain, and you can access the side of the brain that is made for speech.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
so I found all this out and found out I can't sing, but I can rap. And so I would write raps, and then and then a bunch of stuff came from that. I wrote some songs for the Sens, and also through this, I randomly became a motivational speaker, talking about what it's like being a stutterer.
Yeah.
And that was tough, and I was mocked and teased as a kid.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into next.
Yeah.
So I know you go from school to school and you speak to kids.
I do.
And, And I know this because you've taken me along on one of your journeys as well back in the day.
Which was so fun.
And I have to say, like, that day when I went there, it really opened my mind up. And it really changed me as well as a person. And it put me on a new journey, man.
Ah, man.
You know what I mean? I swear to God.
Thank
it put me
you.
on a new journey. And it made
Super
me
cool.
want to do the same thing. But I didn't want to rush it. I wanted to kind of like think about it and let it set in and grow as well as a person.
Yep.
Let it grow onto me
And it's gotta
attach
be
myself
real,
to something. Yeah.
right? It can't be an idea that you have. It's gotta be this thing that is, like real and
Exactly.
not
That I'm living.
contrived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I did this hat right here. You know, this is a collaboration with Ottawa Epilepsy.
Yeah. So cool.
I have a son, if you don't know.
Yep.
I have a boy, so he's 6. He has epilepsy right now as well.
Yeah.
And
struggle, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've detached a brand to the organization and created a hat, and you know, I'm giving back to it as well. So
That's rad,
you know,
man.
when I found that, I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna like attach myself to and, you know, grow with as far as like an organization.
Yeah.
And open
Your
doors.
cause,
And my
right?
cause,
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, man, I just want to say
That's
thank
so
you for that,
cool.
man. You know, but yeah, let's get into it. So. How did you get into speaking with schools and stuff like that?
Yeah, so when I started to rap, I was asked to join a school, to go to a school for a career day to talk about what it was like being a rapper, like as though that was a full-time job, which it was not at all. It was like something I was like fooling around with. But I went in and spoke to a class, and I started to stutter. And the second I started to speak in a strange way, all the questions went from being about rapping to being about stuttering. And was I bullied and teased? And yes. And so I talked about this in a radio interview, and then I got all these calls from schools saying like, "Come on in, we'd love to have you talk about what it's like," because everyone has got a thing. We've all got a thing we're self-conscious about, or some are visible or audible. And so it was this thing that really that schools wanted to talk about, because there's tons of kids out there struggling with this or that. And so I was like, wow, I should probably get my presentation together and figure out how I should tell this story to schools. And so I've since figured that out, and I've spoken at over 200 schools.
Wow.
Yeah.
200 schools.
Yeah.
I've seen you made that post. That happened this year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
just
That's
surpassed
amazing.
that, which is,
and that's ongoing, right?
That's right. Yep.
Wow.
I spoke at a school yesterday, and
wow.
I keep getting
Oh,
calls
wow.
back, which is so cool because I've had folks say like, "Oh, how can I get into public speaking?" And I was like, "I actually have no idea."
I have no
Like,
idea. Yeah.
This kind of just came about, and
Yeah.
I had a story to tell, and I've had some fun things happen over the course of my life. Like I won the car and roll up the rim to win, and I won a 50-50 at a Red Black
That's the
game.
lottery, right?
And
The man
I
won the lottery twice.
Yeah. So I sprinkle these in, and the kids are like, "Whoa, holy smokes! You rap, you stutter,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
win a bunch of stuff," and like, but then I talk about what I do at work, and I show some of the fun videos I do. Like, you have such a cool job. So it's like, so I'd like to say, like, just because you have a thing, don't let that hold you back. You can still go on and do great things.
It
in
doesn't
your
limit
life.
you.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%. Man, that's great, man. And this is the reason why, like, one of the reasons why I say you inspire me so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you do it so naturally. You know, so when people ask you, how do you do this? It's hard to answer because it comes to you naturally.
It's like,
it kind of seems like your life is full circle. Yeah,
It's the same with you, though.
In a way, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to live. I want to live just doing the things that I really like.
Yeah.
And tapping into, you know, the things I care about and monetizing certain things. You know, because you know you got to pay bills.
Yep.
But you know it's
Totally.
yeah, exactly. I guess
have to
that's all we can do, right?
Find your cause and then use your like natural drive to go towards it and to not stop. Like there's tons of folks that say like, "Oh, I sing too, or I rap, or I paint," and so when it's like, "Oh yeah, I would love to check that out," and they're like, "Oh, actually, I don't record it. I just sing, just sing in the shower."
You're not
But it's
living
like,
it.
You have to do it. You have to do it because one, you learn by doing it. You learn how hard that thing is, or like, okay, next time I'll change that.
Yeah.
But also, you build a portfolio
Yeah,
of all
exactly.
the stuff to show your drive and show what you're capable of doing, such that when someone says, "Oh, you do that," you can say, "Yeah, I do. Here you go." It's all
exactly
right there, which is super important.
And this is one of the reasons why I started this platform too, to kind of like show people like a journey, a person's journey.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it takes time, right?
It takes time, exactly. You know, so to see your journey, you know, to becoming who you are and doing the things that you like to do, living off the things that you love, you know, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And you're also a family man as well.
Yeah, that's
so aside from your hobbies and your job, you know, you're also a dad.
Yeah.
Right? That's your full-time job.
Oh my gosh, I have 2 kids, 2 daughters, and they're 8 and 10.
Wow, you're a girl dad on top
Yeah,
of that.
totally,
So, you
totally.
know what I mean?
which is great, but also like, oh my gosh. But it was crazy during like COVID times, during lockdown, when you're locked down with a family and trying to keep up with your job and keep up with your extracurriculars, your passions, writing songs and stuff. That was a lot, but it's through these like struggles and hard times that you find out you can do it. It's the same as having a stutter. You become resilient because you know that when you're greeted with this thing that's super hard, you did it last time, so you can do it this time, and that challenge that
even
lies
better
ahead, which is super important.
Yeah.
That's like super important life lesson is to know that like you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why the journey, it gets lonely. And, you know, because it's really like a battle between you and yourself.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
totally.
You
You want to do all this stuff, but you've only got enough time to do that.
Exactly.
Right?
And I feel like for people that's on a journey and, you know, you have to self-motivate. You have to like keep yourself going.
Totally.
And how you do that is by not stopping, is by seeing like your work.
Yep.
From able to see your work and track your work and be like, oh, I've been doing this for this long. Okay, why would I stop now? Like
totally. And to want to go from there and like get even
better. Yeah.
Better, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like before we wrap it up, I know like so you work for Shopify as a producer.
Yep.
You do rap music.
I do.
One thing I didn't know about you and that I found out when I came to your home is that you're a fan of skateboards.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Your love of skateboards.
Yeah. So
you have like over 1,000 skateboards.
Yeah, I have more. I have about 100 skateboards, and they're all old school skateboards from like 1985 to 1989,
Wow.
and they're all up on the walls, kind of gallery style. So
it looks great.
When I was young, I skateboarded, and we would get all these skate mags and stuff, and I had a stack of them, and there would be this page that has all the decks that you could order, and I always, as a kid, was like, oh man, I want this one and that one and that one, and eventually you're a kid and you don't actually get those skateboards. And so when I was maybe 25, I started to like look into this like collecting world of these skateboards, and found out that they're still out there, and they're worth quite a bit of dough. So I would like buy them, the ones that were like scuffed up, and I would clean them up and resell them and bank some cash, and then and eventually I
He's a hustler.
I mean, low key, but so it's like a hobby I have, and I'm constantly buying and selling skateboards, and I've been contacted by like by like museums to like donate some of my.
Have you done that, or you're like, no way?
I declined. I was like, thank you, but I like these. So I'm gonna hold on.
Wow, that's crazy.
To them, but yeah, the skateboard collecting world is wild, and it exploded during COVID times. Like there are all these Facebook groups that went from being like 10,000 to being like 60,000 folks in there, and it's
that's amazing.
Interesting. It's like a cool little subculture.
Yeah. You know, Peter, man, the energy I get from you is like, you know how they say never let the kid in you die?
Yeah.
I feel like
totally.
I feel like the energy you have is it's like you're living out your kid dreams, down to like the skateboards and everything, you know. So it's amazing, man.
Thank you. And it's so important to have fun.
Yeah.
Which is like the world can be a dark place, and it's scary, and
especially nowadays.
And just like
people are going through
bad vibes out there. But I've always thought that it's super important to have fun and like crack jokes and have fun with your kids, and like don't take life so seriously, because if you do, you're gonna end up not enjoying it.
Yeah. And where did you get those morals from? Was it your parents, or was it your own personal experiences?
I would say personal experiences. One thing that's super interesting is I took speech therapy when I was young, and I was taught ways to speak so I wouldn't stutter, and it really kind of like dampened my whole vibe. But then I discovered that if I spoke in accents, or like singing and stuff, like, "Hey man, what's up? That sounds awesome."
Yeah.
I would speak in these accents, and that kind of brought, or like allowed to come out of, to be an extrovert and a bit like wild. And I think that was a big factor in why I'm like kind of wild and fun. Okay, man, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. It's from kind of using all these like accents and characters as a kid and becoming kind of like a bit of a wild man, as opposed to the like reserved, like, hi, I will speak softly. So I think I've always I like having those kind of accents and stuff like ready to go if I get stuck, or if I have to lean on them in a store. Like, can you tell me where the ketchup is? This kind of like outgoing vibe, I think, was like born through that, and it's become something I found super infectious and fun. Because if you talk to someone, you're like, hi there, how's it going? You'll respond and be like, hi there, how's it going?
Energy,
like, energy, man, what's up? You're like, whoa, awesome, I like this guy. And you like feed off each other. or?
Oh yeah, positive energy is very real,
Yeah.
for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, man, is there any advice you'd like to give out there to any kid, any youth coming up? Also, if anybody wants to reach out to you as well on a personal note, anybody that has children or anybody going through something or that wants to get into anything, how can they contact you and things like that?
Totally. So as far as advice goes, it probably goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you have something that you like doing, do it and record it. Write it down. Paint that painting. Build your portfolio, because you learn by doing and you get better by doing. So channel all 100%. That into actually creating something. And then, I can be found at thejoynt.ca. That's Joynt with a Y. I am always encouraging kids or their folks to reach out if they'd like to chat, if they have a stutter, if they're going through a tough time. I got a ton of
That's amazing.
positive vibes I'd love to share and spread.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yo, it's been great having you, and
Thanks, man.
I'm sure it won't be the last time, that we connect again.
Yeah.
So on this note, man, thank you very much. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Have a
Same.
good day.
Thank you.
Wow.